Hello, welcome to this very special edition of the Pace Report. I'm Brian Pace reporting live here at BRIC, here in downtown Brooklyn, for the official 2021 Brooklyn Jazz Festival. A couple of weeks ago, we lost the legendary Alfred Ellis, who was the music director for James Brown. And as you might know, Mr. Ellis brought a very unique wave and transition from R&B to funk by songs that he co-wrote like Cold Sweat and Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud. Now, as he segued and left the James Brown band, Fred Wesley came in and brought a very unique sound and a different phase to the James Brown sound. Tonight here at BRIC, Fred Wesley and the New JBs perform music that spans some 50 years. And tonight, I had a chance to sit down and break bread with Mr. Wesley to talk about, one, his dear friend, Mr. Alfred Ellis. Also, we had a chance to sit down and break bread and reflect on his role as a band leader, as well as some of his important influences. So sit back, relax, and enjoy highlights of the legendary Fred Wesley and the New JBs live here at this year's 2021 BRIC Jazz Festival here in downtown Brooklyn. It's part of the Pace Report.
Together we are Fred Wesley and the New JB.
First of all, I just want to offer my condolences to you and the loss of a dear friend of yours, Mr. Alfred Ellis.
Yeah.
Tell me the first time you encountered Mr. Ellis.
Oh, it was when I joined the James Brown band. Pee Wee was the band leader, and Wayman Reed, a trumpet player, great trumpet player, had recommended me for the job, you know, and Pee Wee he greeted me, and it was a good greeting. I got a good vibe from him right off, you know, because he was a musician, and I admire musicians who can write. And I found out that the James Brown band wasn't just a bunch of ragtag cats that I had thought about. I thought it was James Brown band was like a bunch of guys that just get together, you know. But I found out it was a well organized, good, big band, you know. And Pee Wee was the leader of it, and so I glommed on to him, and I listened to everything he told me.
The transitioning from him leaving the band and you taking the reins of the music director, you learned a lot from him. He was kind of like, what were some of the things that you learned as a band leader?
Well, first of all, listen to James. You had to listen to him and do like he said, you know, because the Pee Wee was ready to go. He was ready to go. He just wanted to leave the band in some kind of good hands, you know, and so. He found out real quick that I was the guy. I don't know what gave him the idea that I was the guy, because I had never led a band before, especially not a big name band like the James Brown band, you know. But he left it to me, and I kept it for a while. But then I had to leave James Brown, you know, because he wanted me to do some things that I didn't want to do. And I wanted to do some things he didn't want me to do, and so we had to split, you know. But I remember everything that Pee Wee told me, and he told me about some chords and some melodies and you know, some things that he had written. I listened to some music he had written. He had written Cold Sweat.
Right.
And you know, I didn't even like Cold Sweat until I met Pee Wee. Then he turned out to be a good guy, and I got to like Cold Sweat. It got to be one of my favorite tunes, you know. So I left James Brown, and for a year, went to California. I thought I was good enough. I was going to be the hottest new trombone player in LA, right? But I found out that George Bohannon and Phil Randall and other cats was already out there, you know, and already had it locked down on the trombone, you know. So after a year of fooling around, I went back to James Brown. Pee Wee was gone, and so I came back as the band leader. James Brown told me that if I would do as he said, I could be the band leader, and he told me, "Say you'll make a lot of money with me." I said, "Okay, I'll do it," you know, and the rest is history.
You know, you are on. Pee Wee was one of the three arrangers at Creed Taylor Records. It was him, Bob James, and Dave Matthews.
Yeah.
And you're on one of my favorite Hank Crawford records.
Oh yeah, that was a good record. Yeah.
A lot of people don't really put him on the platform. He was a great arranger. He was also a great music director. He went on and did stuff with Van Morrison and other musicians.
Right.
Explain to my viewers what your role and what the role of the music director is, because one of the things I set up in the piece is that everybody associates you with James Brown, but you're so more than that. You're an arranger, you're a band leader, you're an orchestrator, you're a composer, and you're also an educator. A band leader does a lot. You're wearing a lot of hats. What do you do?
Well, you know, with James Brown, it's a little different. It's not that you only the band leader, only responsible for the music. James Brown told me that I was responsible for everything that happened on the stage. You know, that means if a guy came late, I had to discipline him, and if somebody died on the stage, I had to drag him off. You know, that kind of thing. You know, and I was more than just a band leader. I was a composer. and I was translator of his grunts and groans into music, you know. And Pee Wee told me about that. He said, James going to give you some stuff, and you're not going to understand it, but you have to do it anyway, you know. And that was exactly true. But, you know, the music director usually just takes care of the music. But with James Brown, you had to take care of everything, you know. He never slept. He kept me up all night and kept himself up all night, you know, writing songs and changing the show around, you know. And I had to do all of that.
Pass the peas, like we used to say. Come on, pass the peas. Pass the peas. Pass the peas, like we used to say. Pass the peas. Yeah, come on. Pass the peas. Pass the peas, like we used to say.
Fred, you have played with some important architects of rock and roll, and two of them I want to ask you about. Definitely Hank Ballard, and I know Hank and James were label mates, King Records, but Hank wrote some very important rock and roll songs.
Yeah.
Tell me about your time with Hank Ballard.
Well, there's not much to tell because the way I got the job with Hank Ballard, Willie Gresham, a tenor player that I knew from Alabama State, and he was a great tenor player, and he told me if I joined Hank Ballard that I could play more jazz. You know, I was with Ike and Tina Turner at the time, and he said you can play more jazz than you playing here, and then we do the show. You know, so I like that because I always wanted to play jazz. You know, jazz was my first love, bebop in particular, and so I joined Hank Ballard, and Hank was he was a good guy. He didn't take care of business exactly right, you know, and I was only with him maybe 3 or 4 months, you know, and I had to leave because we didn't make any money, and I went back to Mobile, but Hank was a good dancer, a good singer, and he had a good group, but he didn't take care of business right, and we didn't get paid a lot of time.
That's interesting because he wrote some very.
Oh, you know, and he got paid for it later on in life. You know, he got $1 million or more for the Twist.
Right.
And some of those other songs that he had written. You know, Work With Your Annie, and There's a Thrill on the Hill. You know, yeah. And he finally got paid for it. You know, but unfortunately he passed on right after he got paid.
Wow.
But he was a good writer, and he and James, they wasn't close, but they knew each other.
Right.
And James hired him on his show after James had made it, and Hank was on his downtrend because of not taking care of his business right, you know.
Wow.
And so James kind of scooped him up and saved his life, you know.
Wow.
But he didn't start making the money until he got that settlement for those tunes, you know. And he did good right after that, but he unfortunately he passed on. That's
All right, that'll do. One more time, come on, y'all. All right, come on, everybody sing. Bop to the boogie to the bop, bop to the boogie, bop, bop. Bop to the boogie to the bop, bop to the boogie, bop, bop. Bop to the boogie to the bop, bop to the boogie, bop, bop. I'm gonna say now. You know you wanna party, you know you really wanna jump. If you wanna have yourself some fun, you got to get up off of your butt. Move you over here, move you over there. Bop, bop to the boogie, everywhere. Bop to the boogie, 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 bop to the boogie. Everybody. Bop to the boogie to the bop to the boogie, bop, bop. Bop to the boogie to the bop to the boogie, bop. Let me hear by yourself. All right, let me do the bridge. You don't need no money. You can boogie just as you are. And when you bop to the boogie, everyone's a star. You'll be on a natural high and in love with the little man. If you see somebody die, just take her by the hand. Put it over here, put it over there. Pop, pop to the boogie, everywhere. Pop to the boogie, 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 pop to the boogie. Everybody, come on. Pop to the boogie to the bop to the boogie, bop, bop. One more time. Bop to the boogie to the bop to the boogie, bop, bop. Sing it again. Bop to the boogie to the bop. Hey, Freddie, show these people. Come on now.
you played with the Count Basie Orchestra, and there were 3 preeminent big bands. It was Duke Ellington, it was Count Basie, and I'm thinking of another one. I've been doing this for 3 days. I'm tired, but Jimmy Lunceford. So there was some heavy. Those were some heavy big band guys.
Yeah.
What was it about Count Basie that what did you learn from playing with Count, and also what was something about his orchestra that differentiated him from his contemporaries?
Well, you know, the thing that I liked about Count Basie's band was that it had a strong groove. You know, that bam, it would be right there all the time. Something fast or something slow. He always had a good smooth groove, you know. And because he was like that, he was a smooth dude, you know. I mean, from his hair all the way down to his dress to how he talked to his audience, you know. And I saw him one time. We were in the country somewhere in Florida or Alabama or somewhere, and on the break he stood at the piano and signed every autograph that a person brought to him, and there was a line of people, and I admired that about him. But I really liked the way he chose his musicians. The saying it goes that if Count Basie didn't like you were playing, you would just disappear. And we just say, what happened to this guy? Well, he just disappeared, you know, because everybody in the band was sort of took on his persona, you know, and he was a very smooth, yet gentle, and a cool dude, you know. He was tricky. One time I had been with George Clinton, and one time we were going to Detroit, so I called George up. George said, "Oh yeah, you can do some arrangement." So I decided to take some of the band out of Count Basie's band and do some recording for George, right? And when I got back, I saw Count Basie when he got to the gig. He said, "Hi Fred, how you doing?" I said, "Oh man, I'm tired. I've been doing a session with George Clinton. I thought he would be impressed." He said, "Oh, okay, fine." And that night he called every tune that I had never seen before that had a second trombone solo in it, you know. So I'm trying to scuffle, play these tunes all night long. But that taught me a lesson. You know, don't brag about somebody else's gig when you're on his gig, you know.
Right.
But the main thing, he was a great guy, and I loved him very much. And his persona was cool.
Right.
He was the first cool gentleman I ever met, you know.
Everyone said that about him, and then they always say Count was regal. We get it now.
That's a good word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the difference, the style? Because funk, there's a different pattern, and jazz, you're dealing with swing.
Yeah.
How did you fluctuate between both music styles? Because you are a jazz cat. You are, you're gonna go to the grave a jazz cat. You're one of the cats. Your father brought you into it.
Yeah.
What's the What's different between funk and jazz?
Well, number one, swing is swing, you know, and funk is funk. It's hard to explain. But it's how the beat is broken up. You know, the beat could be here, and you got a good swing going. You know, but funk beats everywhere else. It kind of jiggles and snaps. You know, not the way funk. You can play funk over jazz, and you can play jazz over funk. But the emphasis with funk is the beat and the way the beat is broken up. It's not straight and swinging. It's like broken up into pieces and grooved that kind of way. You know, it's hard to explain. Funk makes you dance more so than swing does. You know, and I can't explain why, but it does. And my music today is a mixture of funk and jazz, you know, and some other stuff too. I have some stuff that's borderline classical, and jazz and funk, you know. So I just am blessed enough to have all of those feelings inside my body, you know. So no matter what is being played, I can add to it, you know, by being blessed as I am, you know.
Right.
Yeah. I say it's a gift from God, and everybody doesn't have it, but the ones that have it, they have a responsibility to it too. But I can't explain what the difference is, but it's just broken up and swinging.
Fred, I have to ask you, you know, Ray Charles and Charles Brown and James Brown brought a very dynamic change to the shift of black music, black American music. They took church, they took the blues, and they took R&B and they flipped it. Mm-hmm. And I've always said this, and I'm gonna go to the grave in saying this. Musicians like you, St. Clair Pickney, David Fathead Newman, Hank Crawford, you guys were the architects of how Sam the Man Taylor, you guys were the cats that segued and ushered rhythm and blues, and it was passed on to what we call soul and funk. How do you feel about that legacy now?
Oh, you know, the fact that you included me with those great names you just called is very flattering to me, you know. But as I said, it's a gift. It's a gift, and Fathead had it, and St. Clair had it, and certain people have it, you know. Ray Charles definitely had it, and it's just a gift. Some people have it, some people don't, and it's the will for some people to stretch the music in a different direction, or in a higher direction, a more funky direction than it already is. You know, Ray Charles took it from one thing to another. James Brown definitely took it farther away than most people, you know. And of course, Fathead, the way he's playing, and Hank Crawford, the way they're playing, stretch the music. It's just a gift that has to be manifested itself in the music that they create, you know. And you must add Quincy Jones in that, and Stevie Wonder too, you know.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of people that have it, but a lot of people that don't have it, you know. But I am blessed to be one of those people that has it.
two heavyweights on your band stage, Jay Rodriguez and Freddie. I've known those guys for years. They've been on my show a couple of times. Moving the legacy forward, what is it that you want the next generation of jazz musicians and even the Funkadelics to know about the idiom of Black American music?
Well, Jay and Freddie are two of the younger musicians that you speak of. They're not as young as some people. We have some musicians now that have taken the music out of sight, so to speak. And when I say out of sight, out of my sight. I don't even understand what some people are doing. But I don't shun it. I don't not like it. I can't do it, but because I don't have that gift that they have. But I think that it's very important for everybody to stand their ground, to do what you do and do it religiously. Like Freddie does it, like all the guys in my band, Dwayne and Jay, even Reggie and Rad, to stand the ground and do what you do and do it religiously, so that somebody else can learn what they do and take it to the next level. So that's how I feel about that.
Fred Wesley, this is the last question I ask everybody, and I've got to ask you this. Fred Wesley, what does jazz music mean to you?
Everything. I get up in the morning and there's a song in my head, and it's a different song every morning, every day. It's a different song that stays with me all day long. So jazz is food, it's love, it's what I live for, because without music, I probably would be not here. But music in itself is very important to me, and jazz is most important to me.
Fred, you are single-handedly on probably out of the top 10 blaxploitation film scores. You're probably in the top 5. You've got 2 of them in the top 5, and you're probably in the top 5, probably top 3 sampled of hip hop in history. How do you feel about that?
Well, I feel grateful to James Brown, because he gave me the reins on the Black Caesar movie.
Yeah.
He said, do this, do that, and I'm going home. He went to Augusta and left me to do the whole Black Caesar soundtrack, So I have to thank him for not only being lazy, but recognizing that I could hold up his name.
Right.
Because he got all the credit for it, because when I went to the screening of the movie, I did not see my name on the screen. And I was devastated, because I wanted that credit, But he gave me the opportunity to do what I did, and I just took it from there. But I had to learn from the ground up,
When you did the film, did you ever in a million years think that the music, that particular type of music, the music of that movie, would stand out the way it does some 50 years later, almost 50 years later?
I didn't think anything of that movie, that music, because it was James Brown's movie, film. He had given me some little patterns to do, but Mama's Dead, Sporting Life, down in New York City, that was all mine, because they needed more music, and James Brown said, well, give them something like that, Try Me, and Goodfoot and stuff like that, he said, but I had to write new music because the producers wanted new music for those films, and Mr. Brown did not know that I had done new music, and he fired me on the spot. He said, "You're fired." He looked around and told me I was in the back of the screening room, but then on the way out, he told me, "Say, good job, Good job. Because he knew I had saved his ass. And I was sweating and, but I was ready to fight him about that.
Right. You know what? We got to wrap this up. Johnny Pate, the great arranger, he went through the very same thing you went through when he with Superfly with Curtis Mayfield. In fact, that dissolved, that whole, and I'm surprised that, your humbleness.
Yeah.
You didn't have any bitterness after that. Well, you were angry, but after a while, the proof is in the pudding. The music stuck out much longer.
I just realized that he had given me an opportunity. Because nobody came to me to do a movie score. He gave me the opportunity to do that, And I thank him for that.
That'll do it again for this very special edition of the Pace Report, reporting live here at BRIC, here in downtown Brooklyn, for the 2021 BRIC Jazz Festival. I'd like to personally congratulate and thank the legendary Fred Wesley for his time. For more information on his upcoming club and tour dates, or to order his latest project, please visit him online, as well as his Instagram and Facebook pages at www.funkyfredwesley.com. I'd like to personally thank and congratulate the staff and management here at BRIC for these outstanding 3 days of the 2021 BRIC Jazz Festival. The festival organizers, you guys did a fantastic job, as well as Matt Merowitz, who handled the PR. Your team was fantastic. You guys accommodated me in every capacity these last 3 days. Thank you. You guys also please like, share, and subscribe to my videos here on YouTube. Leave comments and visit my website, thepacereport.com, for my weekly column as well as my past segments. Until next time, remember, if it's in the groove, it'll make you move. Until next time, peace.
Thank you.